Nito, the fallen rabbit of the corrupted isolation zone, is a tricky one to talk about, because right now, there just isn't a huge amount of public player feedback available, and I'd rather be honest about that up front. This is a Japanese adult action game released on DL site in May 2026, and the public-facing material describes it as a game where you control a bunny girl character named Nito, as she fights through a corrupted isolation zone filled with dangerous creatures. That already gives it a strong niche hook, a rabbit girl protagonist, a monster-filled quarantine zone, a mix of melee attacks and gun-based combat, a cute design pushed into a hostile, corrupted environment. That contrast is clearly part of the appeal. From the public gameplay descriptions available, Nito seems much more action-focused than story-heavy. This doesn't look like a long visual novel with dozens of dialogue scenes and branching relationship routes. The main identity appears to be direct combat, moving through hostile areas, fighting enemies, using close range and ranged attacks, and surviving whatever the corrupted zone throws at you. One gameplay description even frames it with the phrase, "Gatling Bunny in the corrupted zone," which gives a pretty clear impression of what caught people's attention. The idea of a bunny girl heroine mowing down monsters with aggressive weapon use is immediately readable. It's silly, edgy, and very much in that adult indie action lane, where the character concept does a lot of marketing work on its own. The corrupted isolation zone setting also gives the game a different flavor from more standard fantasy titles. Instead of castles, villages, or dungeons, this sounds more like a quarantined danger area, the kind of place where the environment itself is part of the threat. That setting works well for adult action games because it creates a natural excuse for isolation, monsters, and danger without needing a huge amount of exposition. From what's publicly described, the gameplay seems to revolve around fighting through these dangerous zones using both melee and ranged combat. That combination matters because it suggests the game isn't relying on one simple attack style. A melee-only game lives on spacing and timing. A shooter lives on aim, movement, and enemy pressure. Combining both can create a more flexible loop, where the player has to decide when to stay back, when to move in, and how to avoid getting overwhelmed. Now, since detailed reviews are limited, I don't want to pretend there's a clear community consensus. I didn't find enough meaningful written user impressions to say that players love the combat, hate the balance, praise the art, or complain about the content. The visible attention seems to come more from gameplay uploads and the concept itself than from long-form review discussion. That means any recommendation here needs to be careful. What we can say is that the visible selling points are strong for a very specific audience. If you like adult action games with monster zone survival, bunny girl character design, ranged weapons, and danger-focused gameplay,